Disclaimer. Okay, so this is an AU, I guess, because nothing's going on with dying or stuff like that. Basically, the kids and trolls live on Spurb together and go to school sometimes because they're bored and want to socialize. Please read and review, XO. It was my first day on Spurb, and I was confused. My name is Stacia, and my first day on Spurb was today. I was only here a couple of hours, so I didn't really know anyone, but I did meet a lot of people, but only for a few seconds. Spurb had a school. It was mandatory to attend on Tuesdays, but the rest was optional. Most of the kids and trolls went, though, because there wasn't much to do. I was in an empty classroom waiting for class to start. No one else was there, but that was okay. I was used to being alone because my parents were both billionaires and left me alone a lot, but I didn't mind too much. Anyway, that was unearthed and I was in Spurb now. I took out my sketch pad and started to sketch Tom Strider. He was this really dreamy guy I met on Spurb with blown hair, glosses, and red eyes. His body was spectacular. He was 6 feet tall and had great muscle structure. When I met him, he seemed really cool and I couldn't wait to get to know him. I started to draw him without a shirt, paying incredible attention to the details of his abs. I really hope to get to see them in the flesh one day. I bet Dave would let me touch them, and he looked like he was probably a great kisser and a good listener. Just then, I felt a tap on my shoulder. Tom Strider was right in front of me. "Oh, hi, Tom," I said with a lovely smile. Tom looked the same as before, except this time he was in much better lighting. His blonde hair glistened. Tom laughed. "I'm not Tom," he laughed. I was confused. "My name is Dave. I was just messing with you." He grinned sneakily, and his sunglasses twinkled like a sparkle. Did you hear that, readers? Like a fucking sparkle. This hurt me a lot. Tom, or Dave, was my first friend in Spurb, and he started our relationship with a lie. I frowned and looked like I was going to cry. Dave felt bad, so he hugged me. "I was just being ironic. I'm so sorry," he said. I let out a few tears and asked him what class this is, and he told me it was Mr. Hussey's class. I also turned the page on my book so he didn't see the picture I drew of him. Dave was hugging me, and I was melting like putty into his arms. His chest was so warm, and his hair smelled like watermelons. He asked me, "What are you doing in this class early?" And I said, I didn't really know, but when was class starting? And he said soon. I asked him if he wanted to get food from Grub Sauce Hub, but he frowned. "I'm sorry if I led you on, Stacia. I am dating," he continued. He fumbled with his cape sadly because this was an awkward situation. "I am dating Terezi and Jade and John." I laughed because I thought he was joking, except his sunglasses didn't twinkle. "Why are you dating so many people?" I asked. He said it was because of quadrants, which means he can have a lot of boyfriends and girlfriends without being a player. I nodded sadly. Then I asked him about his cape. "Oh, this is a wicked awesome cape," he said, twirling so I can see how his moves when he twirled. I got it when I became god tier. I asked him what that meant, and he said, "It means I am a literal god now and I have superpowers other than just my rapping." He snapped his fingers in a way that I knew he was just telling the truth, but also kind of joking because he was proud but also humble. I noticed that as he played with his cape, part of his shirt ripped and revealed his bicep, but only a little. Just as I was about to talk, the bell rang and class started, so the trolls and people started to walk in. All the trolls and humans were there because it was Tuesday. Everyone except Eridan went to this class, and that was because he was a sea dweller and nobody liked him. I didn't know he wasn't there, though, because I didn't know he existed yet. I looked around and saw John next to Dave whispering sweet nothings in John's ear, and John was giggling. This infuriated me. Terezi would probably be mad, but she couldn't see. Blind joke. Mr. Hussey came in late. He said he was sorry he was late, but you could tell that he wasn't. Mr. Hussey was swaggy, but also scary. He wrote some numbers on the blackboard. The numbers were 413 and 612 and 420 and 69. That made Gamzee giggle loudly, which made Kanaya hit him hard with a 50,000 three-page textbook. Mr. Hussey was wearing a gold leather suit bedazzled with rhinestones on the back. His tie was made out of money signs. His lips were very important with it. His lips were very important, and his shoes were just normal teacher shoes, so they were patent leather in black. He was holding a yardstick he sharpened a lot at the end, so it looked like a deadly weapon. He asked us a lot of math questions, and then Vriska said, "Yawn, I think it's time to go." And Mr. Hussey nodded and said, "Vriska is right because she is always right." He was probably sleeping with Vriska, but I don't know because it was my first day at Suburb. I was really bored in class, so I said thank you to Vriska for ending the glass, and she gave me an evil look. "Don't talk to me," she said. She gave me the middle finger 8 times. "I am not afraid to cut you, bitch." I frowned because she was scaring me. She sighed and said, "Welcome to Suburb. I am going to use your notes from now on." She walked away, shaking her ass. You could just tell she was not a nice person. On my way out, I saw Dave rubbing John's ass, and John was feeling up Dave's bicep. I also saw Vriska sticking her tongue out at me and tripping Tavros when he tried to walk past her. I was not sure I would like it here. I was very sad, so I headed to the pool. I sat at the pool edge with a major sign, then realized I just saw a troll butt in the water. Coming out of the butt were 2 gray legs. I was shocked because the troll was doing a somersault in the pool. Then he surfaced, revealing an incredible face. His jaw was amazing and his bones were structured in a hunky way. His purple eyes pierced into my soul and he had a streak in his hair to match. Wow. His swimmer's body was incredible. He was wearing goggles and glasses. "Wow," I said out loud. Aridin looked at me. He was a very sensitive soul and could tell I was upset. "What's wrong?" he said in a sexy, wavy accent. I told him it didn't matter, but that I was glad to meet him. "I'm Aridin," said Aridin. "I'm Stacia," I said, peering into his eyes with a lust that burned. He could tell I wanted him. "Come on in," he said, a twinkle of mischief in his voices. I opened my catalog and took out a bathing suit. It was a modest one-piece, except it had a tie in the front. I dove in the swimming pool, and we swam for a few minutes before he cornered me. "So, Stacia," he said with a smirk, "you new here?" I could feel his boner against me, and I was not upset about it. Before I knew it, we were making out. His lips felt amazing against my lips. I had never felt so in tune with someone before in all of my 16 years. I untied the tie on the front of my suit, revealing my incredible breasts. They were large and round with small areolas and perfect, perky nipples. Aridin leaned down to suck them, but just as he did, a voice came out and it was, "Wow, okay." Aridin jumped out of shock. "Sullix," he whimpered in fear. Sullix was a boy with a big lisp and lots of pimples. He wore blue and red glasses and jeans with cuffs up to his knees. I didn't see or hear him before because he was concentrating so hard on his laptop. "Sullix," Aridin shouted. "Who is that?" I asked, and Sullix told me he was Aridin's boyfriend. I was devastated. I ran out of the pool and told Sullix I was sorry, and then I went into the pool to slap Aridin. Then I left the room crying. I felt horrible because A, that was a very slutty thing for me to do, and B, he had a boyfriend and I might have broken them up. This was no way to make new friends on my first day at Spurb. I was crying so hard. I was not upset that they were gay, though, because this is 2014, and if you're homophobic still, you need to grow up and get a grip on yourself. Also, I'm probably bi, so who even cares that they're both boys? I went into my dorm hive and sobbed into my pillow. Then I closed my eyes and was transported to Durst. End of chapter 1. Subscribe if you like this fic. I promise it will only get better. XOXOXOXOXOXOXO. XO.